I think it's pretty much all. I just talked to him last week. Now he is at 900K a month.
Okay.
I think it's straight off like Facebook and Instagram ads.
Amazing. Okay, amazing. So
Yeah.
are you going straight to strategy call?
So how it works? No. So how it works is video ad to Messenger bot opt-in. So like that's kind of how that was kind of like I think the game changer, because Messenger bots were still kind of they were still new.
Yeah.
So it goes video ad to like Messenger opt-in, and then from there like pushes them to a webinar. It's like a shorter webinar. It's not even like one of those long ones.
How long?
And then the way that I recommend it is like 12 minutes, but it's very specific. Like I have it literally down to like slides and like the script that you say. So it's usually about like 12 minutes. Sometimes it can be up to 20 minutes, but keep it short. And then, yeah, just book a phone call. And then really the fortune is kind of like in the follow-up with Messenger bot follow-up, just getting them to like book an application. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So we're talking 12 to 20-minute webinars, which is a little bit different to certainly what we show people. We sort of get people to do a 30-minute to 40-minute webinar once they've done a VSL, a shorter VSL. So what specific elements did you have in that webinar then?
Yeah, so I mean, by the way, there have been like several different variations too. Over the, gosh, when we first met, it's been like a year and a half ago-ish, give or take. So I'm sure that there's been a lot of different like kind of variations, but basically it's about 60-second like intro and like rapport building, and then kind of maybe like 2 or 3 minutes kind of explaining what you're going to be explaining to them, and then kind of going through a case study for like maybe like 3-4 minutes, and then results. Like ideally, I mean, it's going to help like a ton if you have like case studies and testimonials, because that's what people really, I mean, that's what they want, right? They want to know that other people can do it and that you've helped other people do it. Mm-hmm. And then, so just really hammering with like social proof, that's big.
Ooh. Hello? Hello? I think we might have lost Nico. Yeah. Oh, Nico.
Are you here?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes the internet's kind of spotty.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, man.
Yeah, so sorry, where were we? Like the final...
So we were talking about the 12 to 20-minute webinar and how you were saying it's quite important to have social proof and testimonials in there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at the beginning, obviously, if you're just getting started, like you might not, but it will definitely help a lot. So we just like really hammer like the social proof at the end, and at the end of like the 12 minutes. So it's, you know, it's not that long. And then, yeah, call to action. Just say like, hey, if you're interested in this, like book a phone call right now. There's going to be an application.
Okay.
And then kind of going back and forth between that and like objection handling. Yeah. So like say one objection or something, and then it's kind of, I mean, really the psychology and the framework is the same as like a longer webinar, which absolutely work as well. Yeah. It's more just like condensing it because, you know, if a phone call is involved in the sales process, like that's kind of like, that's where the sale happens. So it's kind of like stressing the importance of the phone call. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you include a story in that smaller, shorter webinar style?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And do you also position a unique mechanism in that webinar as well?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm guessing this is like part of your methodology as well.
I mean,
the way that you're saying it. It's...
Yeah, I mean, I understand webinars, bro. We've done loads of webinars too, and it's always interesting to understand how others put it together. It must be quite hard to put a really short one together, which includes all the elements that you want. I guess it's harder to make a simpler, shorter webinar. because you have less time to put things in it, you know. But it's probably better as well because you're removing all of that friction that you probably don't need in a longer webinar. That often people will jump off a longer webinar, right?
So yeah, totally.
How you've done it. Did you deliver the webinar through a chatbot so someone would actually watch it through on the chatbot itself, or did they have to opt in and go through to the actual webinar page?
Yeah, so in that case, it started out as, I think just like they would get sent to like a ClickFunnels page and like it would be there. So it wasn't actually like within the chatbot, but the chatbot would like send them to that page. Now he uses like EverWebinar too.
Okay.
For one of the funnels though, and then the other one, it just like it's straight like video on a page with the application. So I mean, there's different like formats that, you know, work. It's not necessarily one size fits all, and it also depends on what platform you're coming from, because YouTube, like Messenger, if you're trying to use Facebook Messenger, it does not convert on YouTube, like with YouTube ads.
I'm going to put this on because someone's just said that it's a little echoey. Houston, my good sir, let me know if this is still echoey because I put these on now. So hopefully it's not. Sorry, man, you were saying there's lots of different ways to do it and they all sort of work. Would you recommend testing a number of different formats at the same time, or get one working first?
I would say get one working first. It's just gonna like, I would say like remove as many variables as possible at first.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just gonna be better like first of all, for getting results. Like if you have too many, if you're split testing like a bunch of things at the same time, like you're not gonna know like what the determining factor is. So like don't do that.
The biggest problem that I see is like people wanting to build like 10 funnels, for my book, for my course, for my client attraction, like all at the same time. And it's kind of like, hey guys, come on, let's just simplify everything and get one thing working first before we move on to like something else.
Yeah, totally.
If you were to start selling a course or program right now, a high ticket course or program, what would be the strategy that you'd use step by step? What would it be?
Yeah, okay, so strategy that I would use, I would say like just get the offer, get clear on what your offer is. So like it can just be like literally one page of you like kind of outlining in your head, like what is the offer, who's the person you're helping, and what's the transformation you're getting them from like point A to point B. Like you don't really need to overcomplicate it. I think a lot of people spend way too much time like in the nuts and bolts, but if you can clearly outline to yourself, like here's the person that I'm helping and here's the transformation I'm helping them achieve, like that's really like the bulk of it. So I would say like get that nailed in first, and then I mean, gosh, if you have a warm audience, like you can kind of start reaching out to your warm audience organically and get them on the phone. That if you're starting from complete scratch, that's probably the better way to go about it. That way you can just, even if you're not planning on making any, or you know, even if you don't make any sales, at least you're going to be kind of getting, you know, feedback on, is this something that people are actually wanting? And then from there, let's say that you know for a fact that it's like, let's say it's an offer that you've sold before or something like that.
Yeah.
And like you're kind of out of that phase of like, was this a viable offer? From there, I personally would create, we call it like a short form webinar. I would create that because it kind of gets you, how do I put it? Like for me, like it makes it feel real. If you have like a video about it, and like you create the slide deck and like you record it and all that, then like once that's done, for me, it feels like it's a real offer. And so then I would create that, create the funnel quickly. It's not a complicated funnel. And then, yeah, just start putting people through it. So if you have organic or...
Just to, by the way, thank you so much for sharing this, Gold. If anyone else has any questions, comment them below. We do have a question here. I'll answer those questions in a second, but you said, you know, just put the funnel together and so on. What specific funnel would you recommend in that second stage after we've got an offer validated through organic. We're just messaging people, we're sharing posts, we're getting people on calls, we're selling the offer, and now we're scaling up a little bit with a funnel. What funnel would it actually be? What it would look like?
Yeah, so definitely it needs to be like a video funnel, and we have like our own special, we call it like a short form webinar funnel. So it's essentially like getting them to opt in, and then you have like the short form webinar page.
Okay, straight away on the next page, there's no waiting room.
No waiting room. You can do that. I mean, I've done that before, and it works. It works fine. I more do that for like a course or something.
Okay.
It's more just like if you want it to feel, or if people know that it's not live and you're not trying to like pretend that it's live or whatever, then you don't really need a waiting room.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of like, that's one thing that's kind of up to you. I don't do the waiting room. I just like say, hey, here's like a case study, and they know that it's not live.